What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. We call them poor. Okay? Right, like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right, but I mean, we can all look Bitcoin sort of as...
Forever, Laura. People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. 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 We call them poor.
Last year, cryptocurrency funded every kind of dangerous criminal.
But I would not touch crypto in a million years.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
If I was the government, I'd close it down.
People are losing money in scams and huckster flim-flam artists.
These people who own these things should not own your money in any of those. I do think you're an idiot, okay?
It's over.
Go fuck yourself. What do you do? Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. What do you do? Is that clear?
What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just
All right, guys. I can't wait till I get my stream deck set up so I can get a little better on the timing and queuing up of all these things. Anyway, it's Friday. It's Bitcoin halving day. It's a really good day. We're only, it says 4 hours and 12 minutes right now. The blocks can get solved at different intervals of time, in case you didn't know that. So it could shift around a little bit. Right now it's saying, so I have my stream for Bitcoin for the halving set up for 7, but now it's telling me Central Time, but now it's making it look like it might be done about that time. So I might start at 6:30. So we might have to adjust and kind of figure it out, but it's coming really, really quickly. And again, over here, 30 blocks remain. When I posted earlier today, it was like 82 or something. So it's going really, really quick. You still hit the like despite my fuck up. Thank you, Intelligent Computing. Disease Kodak, like. Yes, please. If you guys could like, that would be great. It's very much appreciated. Real quickly, before we segue into my portfolio and some of the rest here, I'm not going to be focused on Bitcoin in this stream. I'm going to save that for the Bitcoin halving stream at 6:30 or 7, depending upon what time it starts. This is going to be more about, economic data, other stuff, looking up charts, all the normal stuff. We're just going to save the Bitcoin stuff. So also, I wanted to talk here and let you guys know. Oh, Wild Frenchie's here. What's up, man? Bonjour. I wanted to let you guys know that I've acquired a few new tools. I have a Seeking Alpha membership now. I have a Macro Micro membership, which is a great site for just getting everything, macroeconomic data related, and building out of charts and all kinds of information. And then I got another one with a company called Cortex, which will give me real-time short interest and just all kinds, like just a sick amount, like days to cover, shares on loan, cost to borrow, utilization. Like there's just so many things involved in this, and this is just one part of it. There is so much with this tool. So anyway, I'm trying to step up my game and get really good tools, learn about them, figure out what the best of the best are, because I figure if anything, I'll be able to serve you guys better if I have the highest amount of automation and then also the best tools that money can buy. So I'm starting to invest in that. The Cortex one, for instance, is about $1,000 for a year. So I'm not fucking around. All right. Portfolio. Zachary, first time as a paid member. Excited to be here. Thanks, man. Really happy to have you here. All right. So today, I would say it was almost a wash. My shitcoins are up. And I've got investments like CleanSpark and I don't even know what the rest are. I'd have to look at the mining stuff. But some of them were actually up today. And I guess I do have that in front of me here. So Cypher closed up 4.62%. CleanSpark up almost 6%. Ethi up 4%. Even PayPal up 0.35%. And my Starbucks puts, I only have like one left as just a label. So it was up to 0.53%. But Tesla closed down 1.89. That wasn't really the elephant in the room, though. So my account portfolio actually here managed pretty good. And across my other accounts, I think I'm break even. I haven't actually had a bad part of the remainder of the week, partially because of crypto recovering. That helped. But as you can see, these shit coins, too. I don't know exactly what they're up today. Coinbase sucks at this. But this is like just the overall return. But it says, I think it is at least, it says 247,000. I believe that's about 5,000 more than yesterday. Maybe it's 7. But again, improvement there. And then across other accounts, doing good as well. Now, the elephant in the room today would have to be, I'd say, the NASDAQ, technology-focused stocks, whether the Magnificent Seven just getting brutalized. I mean, look at this, like across the board here. Meta was down over 4%. Nvidia down over 10%. Netflix down 9%. Apple, Google, Microsoft down like 1.5%. Amazon down 2.56%. The big caps got destroyed. One of the things I want to note here, though, so obviously finance did all right today. That was pretty strong. You can also see strength in utilities, strength in energy and minerals, strength in consumer non-durables, and I would argue some strength in Tesla that was down a lot less than Nvidia's 10%. So it seems like the downside momentum is slowing, and we'll talk about that more in a second. But I actually don't mind some money funneling out of these really big super techs. I don't mind that. Some people will continue to buy into them because they're so cash rich, and that's fine. But I think at this stage, I would rather see the big guys taking the hit than all the little guys. And that is reflective across the board here. This is as far as we're going to go with Bitcoin right now. So again, you can see the crypto market and how it performed. Solana out of the really big large caps, the best. Not too surprised there. And then Bitcoin and then Ethereum. Ethereum is just a laggard, but looking good on the crypto front, which again, as I always say, these crypto fronts, SMCI was down 22%. No shit. All right, we got to look at that. So like I say, crypto and Bitcoin will lead the rest of the markets, okay? So just like the miners today, they're bouncing, right? The altcoins are bouncing, Bitcoin's bouncing. They move quicker, generally, not all the time, than the markets because they're open 24/7. There's just a lot of variables, but they move faster. It's where liquidity resides. all parts of the day, not just certain parts, not just 1/3 of the day, depending upon your region, right? So it's the most liquid market. It's the one that moves the most. So just remember that, etch that in your brain, and make sure that you understand that. Now, here's what I wanted to show today, because this is kind of fascinating. The NASDAQ actually was the worst performer. That's not normal, but I think it's healthy. The NASDAQ dropped over 2.05%, actually bounced a little bit at the end of the day, but dropped hard. Basically got to this next level where we have volumes. This could be the ultimate drop. There is a chance, though, of another 1 to 3% before we hit the 200 moving average, and that would be just, and this is on the daily time frame, that would be a very strong area of support. As you can see, it found it here in March of 2023. It found it over here in October. So this is our big, this 0.5 fib, the 16474, and right where the 200's moving. These are our strongest levels of support, okay? These are it. Pooter, I bought the shit out of Tesla today, and will keep buying until my wife tells me to stop. Luckily, my wife is pretty awesome, and she has a lot of faith in what I do for investing. And so I think I've probably proven it too, though. And since I was able to retire her and me and her family and my family. But so I probably earned some of it, but she doesn't bother me at all. She just checks in every once in a while to make sure I'm good. But yeah, so again, NASDAQ brutalized, down 2.05%. I think we could go another 3.31%. Now the S&P down 0.88%, less, significantly less. It could find the 100 as it could even stop here at like 48.95. Worst case, like this 4,800 range, or right around the .382 at 47.27. This would be the ultimate bottom, and it's about 5%. I really, though, honestly, couldn't see it dropping more than like 3. So we're so close to the bottom right now. We've already fallen a lot, especially if you look at the NASDAQ and then compare it to how much further we have to go. Same with the S&P. Now, here's the surprise. And I said this was going to happen yesterday, and it did. And I was super happy about it because I love being right. At least, when it happens. But the Russell 2000 small cap, I said, hey, I think that this is going to start to outperform these other indices because it's got less to drop. And sure enough, it did find support on the 200 moving average, and it was up 0.24% on the day. So the NASDAQ got crushed, NVIDIA down 10%, SMCI, it sounds like down over 20, just really bleeding out in some of these large caps. And the Russell, the small caps, they're bouncing first. Now, I'll tell you this, my theory now is that the small caps are following the way of crypto and Bitcoin, and they're going to be a leading indicator for a period of time where we'll see them outperforming. That's my thesis. It might not have been the exact timeline that Tom Lee was talking about, but I do think he'll end up being right. And so I think this 200 is strong support. Maybe we get to the 50 if we really have some drops next week. Or maybe next week, guys, if there's no major controversy between Israel and Iran. And it sounds like both of them want to... These are like... Israel and Iran right now are like, dude, I'm going to kill you. Like, that's them, right? And then, like, one person gets hit, and they're like, whoa, that hurt, kind of, or could. And then the other person gets hit, and then they're like, you know what? I'm good. You good? Yep, we're good. Let's just step away. I think that's where we are right now. I don't know if that changes in the future, but right now, Iran is ill-equipped to handle Israel. Israel can fly its jets into anywhere because there are jets, right? They've got much more advanced technology. They could go to the heart of their cities and drop bombs on every nuclear facility they have and just end them. So they're very powerful. The power dynamic is very much in their court. And they took the route of saying, we're not going to escalate. We're going to show them what we can do without escalating. And I think that was the smart move. Instead of just blowing up nuclear power plants, that definitely wouldn't have been ideal. So I think if we continue with that kind of approach, and hopefully Iran's learned a lesson, I can't guarantee that's going to happen. But hopefully between the two of these, they can start dialing things back so a bunch of innocent people don't have to die. That's my hope. But if that happens, and I'm right, back to my point, I guess I had one, was that by Monday, if we don't hear any craziness and things are in fact calming down in that region, we're going to continue to see oil drop. And it dropped hard today, guys. So down 5% off of its high earlier in the day or last night, like that's a huge drop. So I think we could see the Russell outperforming. I think we could see small caps, or I'm sorry, Russell is small caps. I think we could see crypto, Bitcoin outperforming, and maybe others, but I think they're going to be the leaders, and some of the other stuff is going to turn into laggards. And I think good things are coming. You might think I'm a crackhead for believing this, but I've been pretty right about a lot of stuff. I'm not right about everything. So just give me the benefit of the doubt. All right, so this upper end here, real quickly, this is oil, right? And I told you that we had this descending triangle that we broke down out of. We actually dropped further than the measured move. It was a little concerning once we heard all the stuff happening with Iran and Israel, but we got up to $85.58. But now we're down to $82.05. This thing dropped 5% down to that level. And now it looks like with this right here, if anything, it looks like it's going to start breaking lower. So you've got divergences. If you look back here, you've got divergences that go back to 2022. So this thing wants to go lower, at least on the RSI. And so I don't see a lot of strength in oil right now, again, unless we have a major geopolitical issue. Because look, right on the weekly here too, we couldn't even close above the 100. Now, maybe next week we get above it, establish a base, but it's not great when you end a week. A week is a big time frame, and you can't keep it up. So that's not ideal. I gotta get better at keeping up with live comments. Let me just read a few. Wild Frenchie, I will sell a kidney. I can buy a new one later. Not sure what you're talking about. Oh, Tesla. Fuck yeah. Agreed. Tesla isn't going that low. I really don't think it is. It could. Hell, it could go to 69. That doesn't mean it will. I think that's like a 2% probability. I don't like 1 out of 50 odds. Maybe it's 3%. I don't know. But I don't think that's happening. I think that we're at the bottom or finding it. And I think seeing NVIDIA down 10%, seeing SMCI down over 20%, and seeing Tesla barely down 2%, I think is a key indication that that's true. What did Tesla close down? Let's see. I'm sorry, 1.92, roughly 2% using after hours. And what did it perfectly do today? What did it perfectly do today? It set itself up for next week because we perfectly closed this gap. It's just done. The gap is gone. There is no gap anymore on the daily time frame. So we closed it. If you zoom back here, it's been perfectly closed, especially like you see this wick down here, completely closed. Perfectly. Didn't go any further than that on a day when the markets were pretty bloody if you were a tech company. So, and it didn't have any fucking problems. I think that's carrying into next week. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. All right, let me get back over here. What are we at? Oil. We did oil. The dollar was down 0.07% today. I said this before. We've got divergences on this too. I said it in a post, I believe, today. I could see us rolling over here. Divergences go back a long time on this into 2022. So this thing, I think it's found a ceiling that could last for months, if not a year or more. The MOVE index, this is the bond volatility index. It went down today, and look at this for the week. Look at this. It looked like it was going to break above the 200 moving average on the weekly time frame. It rejected underneath of it, rejected under the 100, and dropped pretty hard. So this is what we want to see. We want to see bond volatility being reduced. It means that there's less concerns out there. The dollar coming down means there's less concerns. When these things are coming down, it's generally good for equities. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. And then also the equity put call ratio that I was talking about yesterday with the Chicago Board of Exchange. I said, hey, we're up here, and on the monthly, you'll see there's only one other time we've closed a month up at this level. I don't think it's going to last, and we're going to see this fall out. We've seen it. So it's dropping out now, and it's establishing normalcy. And again, I kind of like the way that it's happening. I like the small caps. I like crypto and Bitcoin doing well. It tells me we're turning a little more risk on. And at the same time, energy is still doing well. And again, in consumer durables and these other things. But I do think, in a weird way, we're turning risk on. Now, here's what I love. The Fear and Greed Index, 31. Nice low number. I think it actually even got lower than that today. Let me see. It probably doesn't show me on this daily. It just shows 31. That's fine. We're almost near extreme fear. You want this, guys. This is the time where you get more excited because you want there to be fear. It lets you know you're getting closer to a bottom. Now, the CME Fed Watch tool. We're going to run through a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of other things to look at today, too. All right. May, only a 3.9% chance. But I'm saying there's still a chance. It's just not great. It's like 1 in 20. And then June. there's a 16.9% chance. Not looking good. July. Oh, come on, July. All right, 40. Praying for July, and I still think we're going to reach this. I'm going to show you how Japan has weakness, China has weakness. This is the second and third largest economies on Earth, and they're weak, and they're just giving a preview of what's coming for us. I mean, and again, Europe has already been weak. That China will drag down deflation. It doesn't mean it will destroy the economies around the world. I actually think that could end up being a positive, because again, if they export deflation, their economy is doing rough. They have to play nice, and because it's gonna. Some economies go to war. They go to war to offset economical issues. I just don't know if that's an option for China right now. I just don't know if it is, and if I'm right about that, it's going to change the dynamics quite a bit and make it, again, if they're exporting deflation to the world and we can get cheap goods, but they can't get access to high-end technology, and we're the ones benefiting from AI, because AI doesn't work for them. It doesn't. You know why it doesn't work? Because they censor fucking tons of shit. And what's acceptable in one context can't be acceptable in another one. There could be numbers. There could be Winnie the Pooh isn't allowed in China. There's all kinds of stuff that just cannot happen and that just avoid. And so if you can't use all the words, like large language models need data. They can't have heavily manipulated data, or they won't give you the right results. You'll get a Thomas Jefferson who's a black man when I'm pretty sure he wasn't. And sure, you can do stuff like that, but it kind of makes solving the problems of the future really difficult if your data set is fucked, or your AI doesn't know how to communicate or can't give answers to people, because when it parses through everything and excludes all of the muted out, voided, we don't allow these things, it's just missing so much data, it can't come to any good conclusions. So maybe we benefit from all that stuff. I think it's a very interesting time we live in right now. And I wouldn't, years ago, I wouldn't have guessed that we'd be in as good of a position as we are right now in this country. I wouldn't, and I'm happy about it. I'm not upset, but I wouldn't have guessed it. All right, let me see here. Let's see what we have from here. Oh no, I need to go up. I've got some other data points right above this one. So I said, note what happened near the end of October, which looks very similar to today. Bar chart put something out. These guys are my buddies. I love them. I think I got a free thing of their service. I need to check that out too. But the S&P 500 said it has now closed red for 5 consecutive trading days, the longest losing streak since October. And all I said was over here was, yeah, but look what happened next. You had maybe another week of downside, and then you went up for fucking ever, right? Like 5 months. So I wouldn't hate that. That would be an okay conclusion for me. So I think you can't, markets are weird. People switch from one state of it, like an exuberance and everything is going to go up, or just a really like, we don't care about risks thing, to like the exact opposite of that. And then it's like, oh my God, the world's going to die. The end's coming. We've got World War III. We're all fucked. Sell everything. Sit in cash. And then like, I don't know, a month or two later, everybody's like, but you don't realize AI is changing the future. ChatGPT changed everything for everybody. And none of the previous rules make any sense anymore. And so you'll just literally just jump from narratives that are like on complete polar opposites. And so it's very easy to get sucked into that world, especially if you read headlines, and they're almost always negative. And so it's very easy to get like distorted views and become like, go from irrational exuberance to extreme fear and just pain and just suffering, and where you can't even look at markets anymore as you watch the money go away. And you got to remove that. You got to fix your psychology. You got to look at it and say, oh, well, it doesn't necessarily look all horrible. We could have problems, but what are the positives? What are the best case solutions? What could happen that could change this? You got to look at it as a builder, a fixer. Like, oh, hey, who's making sense? Which one's right? What's the most probable? If you look at investments, the entire ecosystem, from the biggest to the littlest, this way, you will be a much better investor. So again, just don't get hung up in the sky is falling bullshit, because if we just go back a little bit, on a number of levels, I'm going to show you a bunch of things that make it look like we're finding a bottom. Again, over here, I said only one other time in the last 20 years has the CBOE put call ratio closed the month anywhere where it is now. And again, we were way up here, and then now it's just down to nothing. So that's been wiped out. This is Banana 3 Socks. It's a weird name. 3 bananas. Also fucking weird. But he's actually pretty brilliant. He's a smart guy, and he aligns with me on a lot of levels. He's definitely like an American patriot, but not in like the creepy way. Just somebody who loves this country and also loves the world and wants it to do better. And he's very smart. He's very smart. I'm not going to read through all of this. It's a good thing to check out, though. He's really good with geopolitics. I love his focus on it. Again, currency wars, trade wars, the Fed, all these different metrics. He's very thoughtful. He's worth a follow. All right. So again, I wanted to represent the dollar here, since I had drawn it out in one of my charts, but you can see the bearish divergence. You can see a convergence trying to push to the upside on the RSI. You can see bearish divergence and convergence on the MACD that wants to pull this thing lower. So I try to visually represent that. And so I think we could chop here for a long time, just like we've been doing. We don't need to necessarily go way up or way down. It doesn't really matter. This chop can be very lucrative. If you look at when we drop down here, a lot of the really positive action in the markets was through here. So chop doesn't mean anything to us. It's perfectly fine. We'll be happy with it. All right. So let's, I got a lot of stuff here. Again, Seth Golden, my buddy. I love Seth. He said, daily trading sentiment composite drops to 47.8, lowest since November of 2023. Historically, such readings signal short-term bottoms, potentially leading to above average returns. So again, just another metric that shows that we're probably going to be going up, or very close to finding the bottom. And then he's got another good one I wanted to go over. And I've kind of reworded this a little bit because he's so smart. Sometimes his explanations can be a little confusing to a layperson. But I said each time the purple line CBI reading has the red horizontal line, or hits the red horizontal line, we're within days of a short-term bottom in the S&P. That's happening right now. So again, I don't even know what the final metric. This is his chart. I don't have it pulled up, but I'm willing to bet that we got close to it today. And if you look historically, it's usually a short-term bottom. Doesn't show a correction in the overall trend, but it does show that we should have a bounce. And all he said was quantifiable edges capitulative breadth indicator. Rose 12 to the highest level, below the chart of CBI readings. So again, he's a smart guy, but that doesn't always translate well. So I kind of feel like I have to explain some of it. Another thing. So this is from Banana 3 Stocks. Again, great guy. I said the NASDAQ McClellan indicator is also indicating a bottom. So again, just another indicator that says that we're there. On top of the put, I think he's got the put call ratio in here, the MACD, all this other stuff, right? Lots of things saying we're in a bottom. All right, real quick. I said in here, inflation is dropping all around the world, including within the number 2 and number 3 economies, and we're worried about it taking off. It makes no sense. And all this says is the United States dollar versus Japanese yen erases gains after Japan inflation slows down to 2.7%. So their inflation is coming down. Their currency was gaining some strength against the dollar, but their inflation dropping when ours is still high. That's my way of saying bullshit. Is something that's problematic for them. Now, we're going to segue a little bit here. We're going to jump over. Actually, I'm going to jump into China real quick. Got to get my China shit out. Part of this is Seth, and I just said, so in here, let me just pull this up. So in here, he showed the Japanese stock market and the Chinese stock market. This was Japan back in the 80s. You could see the big boom that they experienced. They became a major tech hub. They became the distributor for the world, for vehicles, for electronics. I mean, Sony, does anybody know what Sony is? It's a company. They were kind of a big deal when I was a kid. But all this tech stuff, Japan was just huge. Then over time, their economy got weak, but at the same time, flows started to go into China. And so their demise was kind of China's step into fame and allowed them to get super powerful and rich, right? As capital flowed into them, the way it did with Japan after our last war with them. Now, Japan had lost decades, right? That's what they called them. Like, you could see from late 90s all the way through here, just pain. Like, all of it's just gone, right? Now, if we look at China, he was making the argument that they could be falling into the ignored stage. I think it's much worse than that. I think that theirs isn't an ignored stage. Theirs is the largest financial collapse we've seen of a major superpower in our lifetimes. So, yeah. Now, right here, let's look at this real quick here. So this is the Chinese, this is what I was talking about yesterday. The FDI came in, the Chinese foreign direct investment year over year. And it was the worst negative read, negative 26.1% reduction year over year in foreign direct investment. They were forecast at 25, which was already horrific. And the last one had been 19.9. It was bad. So we're at levels that were the lowest levels they were in during the 2008 great financial crisis. And I don't think we're remotely done. Because they haven't had a capitulation yet. They're just starting to roll over. Whereas here you can see it was extreme capitulation, right? We haven't even started that. I don't even know what to say. They're fucked. That's all. That's all I got. They're so fucked, guys. And I think more people are actually starting to realize this now, which I'm happy about, I guess. Because I want people to know just how bad things are so that they don't put their money in it. So I guess, if anything, hopefully that turns into something good, because I don't want people losing a bunch of money. I just think that's not cool at all. All right, so Tesla. Again, I said we closed the gap. Beautiful. Very happy about that. House of Wall Street. I like this post. He said, Tesla investors or haters, let this sink in. He goes, the average Tesla gain per year currently stands at 91%. I don't know about you, but to me, it's a great long-term investment if you like a 91% return on your investment. Now, there's the economies of scale and stuff. They're much larger now. But that's an important fact that I think a lot of people can easily overlook right now because they're so caught up in price action that they lose their minds on the reality of this company. Buy Baba. Yeah, nobody's fucking do that. If you're an idiot, buy Baba. Throw everything you have into it. Dumb people deserve to lose all their money because then they can give it to people like me. Now, and I know you're joking. Tesla, real quick. Tesla Cybertruck outsold GM's Hummer EV. This is coming from AJ, or Allah. Whoa, okay, whatever. This is coming from AJ. Tesla Cybertruck outsold GM's Hummer EV sales, including both the truck and SUV version, in the Cybertruck's full sales quarter. In Q1 of 2024, GM reported 1,668 Hummer EVs, not a Humber. Tesla sold 2,800 Cybertrucks, according to Kelley Blue Book. That's kind of cool. But also, it's a 2-for-1 sale. AJ also gave us the Cybertruck outsells Silverado EV by over 1.8x in total lifetime sales units. Although GM's Silverado EV pickup launched a quarter before Tesla Cybertruck, the Tesla Cybertruck has already outsold the Silverado EV by almost 2x as many sales. And the Silverado has been around longer, and they've produced and sold this many. Kind of a big deal. And then I just wanted to remind you guys that Tesla is a failing company that nobody likes, that people don't even like their cars. They're certainly not interested in buying them. It's definitely not an iPhone moment where everybody wants one. And it's not like they're transforming the future of driving and autonomy or energy or anything else, okay? I just want you guys to realize that obviously nothing good is coming out of Tesla. And hopefully you get the sarcasm there. All right. Let me see. I think we need to pull some shit up. Let me get to here. And we're not doing Bitcoin stuff. If you guys want that, you got to come to the halving game, okay? That's the way it works. That's going to start at probably 7, maybe 6:30. It depends on when these blocks get solved because they keep bouncing the fucking time frame, like one hour over here, 2 over here. So we'll see what happens. But Ryan O'Malley, hey Jesse, can you look at ABCL? Many thanks. Yeah, I can do that real quick. I'm just going to pull up this part though, because I like to look at the financials and then just tell people whether they suck or not, and then I'll show you who's concerned. They lost $47 million and they made whatever the fuck that is, 9. Now, I do believe, if I remember correctly, yeah, they're still going to suck. Yeah, so there's that. They lose money. I don't know what else to say. I don't really care. If you know more about like the actual fundamentals of this company, cool. I like that they're buying back their stock. There you go. That's the one thing. But they were buying a lot more back of it over here. But I don't know. I just don't know how you value something that doesn't make money. This is where I always go into my rant about just buying ARKG. Does ARKG hold these guys? Let me see. ARKG Holdings. ARK. Or what is that? What was that called again? What was it? ABCL. Let me see. I'm just curious. Because if it's in there, just fucking buy ARKG. ARK Genomics. Oh, no, it must not be. Well then. Yeah, either way, I don't like companies that lose money. If you got more to say, let me know. Okay, what are we looking at here? We missed all that. Jesse laughing my ass off. What do you mean? What did you miss? Oh, does it still mute my microphone? Son of a bitch. All right, we'll do it again. Just give me a second. We're going to do it again. But we'll keep it a little simpler and without the music. Just give me a second. Because what I said was kind of important. I keep forgetting this. This mic is great because I can jam out. Like, I can watch the videos and hear it and not have to mute my mic. But it seems to have like an auto mute function, which kind of blows. It blows for that. It's great for everything else, right? But not for that. All right, so here we go. So we're going to do this. Play it again. All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right, here's my rant. So Tesla is obviously a failing company. One that nobody cares about. One that's definitely not like an Apple iPhone back during the BlackBerry days. Definitely not an innovative company that's going to be replacing autonomy as we know it in the transportation sector and the energy sector. It's not like Elon lands rockets, you know, or takes everybody to the moon and gets like 90% of mass to space. It's not like he's allowing quadriplegics to be able to communicate and interact with their environments again and potentially walk in the future. It's not like he created a Starlink network that has over 6,000 satellites in space that can protect us against China and Russia and Iran in the future, while also providing internet to every end of Earth. So the only thing I wanted to say is you should just really realize that this company is obviously destined for failure, and that it's not like they're the most innovative company in the auto sector, in the AI sector, in the robotics sector, or at least one of the ones on Earth. So you should definitely discount Elon. He gets political, and so he's not a good CEO anymore. He definitely doesn't deserve the package that was promised to him when shareholders voted for it years ago. So we should definitely revoke that, because I can't think of a better way to succeed for a company than to save a little bit of money right now in order to be able to ensure that Elon has no real incentive to perform, because this company doesn't give a fuck about him. So definitely vote no on his pay package if you want Tesla to be less successful than it could be. That's my vote there. So I just wanted to say that real quick. I've got to remember that whole mic thing. Sorry about that. All right, let me go back over here. Where my stuff at? We'll go here. All right. So yeah, sorry, ABCL. Yeah, I don't really love that one. That's my take on that one. I don't like companies that don't make money, so it's really hard for me to gauge anything. And if you guys, here's the thing, if you don't want me just to shit on your stock and look at the financial thing, in your request, if you don't care about my opinion about the stock, in your request, just ask me about the technicals too, and I can at least still pull those up for you. So we'll just make that a thing in the future. Put the dollar sign, put this symbol, say, can you look it up, looking to go long, whatever. Say what you're looking for, and that you want me to look at the technicals on it and see if it's got support or if it can go higher and how high. Just like voice that kind of stuff, and I'll fine tune it more to what your request is. All right, Zachary Alpern. That's cool. That's a different name. Hoping to join live today, but if I can't, can you look at AAP and TKO? Thanks. AAP, that's my buddy Derek Quick's stock, right? Advanced Auto Parts. think last time I was talking about it, I was probably shit talking it. It's going up though. Here's the thing. Look at this gap. On a technical standpoint, there is no volume between here and 100. So I don't know if I'd own it beyond here. Well, I guess if you go way back. If we go way back. Here, let me go. I'm only on the daily. Let me go back further. I am misspeaking. So we know we got a huge gap, right? And, okay, there's the volume. And then we know normally you'd reject at the .618. But maybe you get above that, close the gap at least, and then struggle in here for a while if it's going to maintain. But if I remember correctly, the valuation on this one was not super great. Like, it's a decent company, and it's just not growing that much. Anyway, so I'm just going to stick with the stock one on this. If you want me to dig in that further, let me know. I'm trying to streamline a little bit. Gartov, 33. Hey, Jesse, a great day. What's your target for CLSK? I'm not going to do that yet, but I will do it in tonight's session, starting at what I believe is probably 6:30, maybe 7, probably 6:30. So I will look up, I will talk about Bitcoin. I'll show you guys a bunch of cool stuff. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. And then we might even pull up some other YouTube channels, and we'll also look at miners and things that are crypto related. We'll be going over all that stuff then. So in the next one, I've already got that out there. So in the next one, go ahead and just throw your thing in the next one for tonight. And I will just look for Bitcoin halving 2024. You can't miss it. And then I will do that. Hey, Jesse, could you look at Siri? Buffett recently increased his stake. Or what is SIRI? What is that? And I don't know if I got the other one. What was the other one you want to look at for AAP? TKO. I'll give you that too since I didn't pull up the financials. Let me see if I have it though. Nope. All right. Here, let me fix something. All right, there we go. All right, now I'm up to regular time here. I need to get my screens coordinated better. I cannot wait until I get my Stream Deck hooked up. I got so many things I'm trying to learn. I got new tools I'm trying to learn. I got the Stream Deck that I'm trying to play around with. Like 3 or 4 websites I need to learn. It's just insane. What is TKO? Is this like UFC shit or something? What is this? TKO. Let me see. I'm curious. We gotta do this. Let me pull you back over here. Yeah, what is TKO Holdings? It sounds like a fight thing. That's what I was curious about. But I just don't know if it's a name, just abbreviated. Oh, Taseko Mines Limited. What is this? Copper mines. Copper price is going up. I can see why you'd be interested. Their revenue went up a lot. Let's just look at something real quick. Actually, let me go here. So their valuation is almost $1 billion. They netted 50 million. Their estimate going forward is not there. Let's see, what do we have? Don't have a lot of background here. Jesse the coin teaser. Yeah. I just don't want to duplicate this stuff. You know, if I'm going to talk about it, I want to make it to where it's focused on the one thing and not like, hey, come back to the other thing and hear me talk about the same shit that I talked about earlier today. Just doesn't seem like much of an incentive. Debt's a little high on this one. I don't know. This is really dependent upon how well copper does, right? Going forward, is it going to continue to go up? Gasoline's been diving down a little bit. Is copper going to go up? So here's the thing. Copper is used in a lot. People were saying in the last one it's used more in construction than it is in chips and stuff like that, and circuits and boards. I don't know if that's true. I really don't know, honestly. I don't know enough about that sector, so you guys will assume it is. Copper has done well. It's done well. We're building a lot of new homes here. They aren't, though, in China. And we were reading just the other day that like China wasn't smelting as much, so they were lowering their production. And then we had also locations where copper wasn't flowing quite the way it was supposed to. So I don't even know if it's so much demand that's been bringing it up lately as it is just these markets not functioning well. Now, could that still drive the price higher? Maybe. But if there's some kind of downward spiral that's starting in China and they're reducing their need to consume this type of material, maybe they could constrict supply too artificially to try and keep the price up, but I just don't think there's a benefit there for them. The free market would be a lot better way of letting it be managed. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I just don't know. So a lot of this and how well this does is going to be directly because of the price of copper. It's why they had such a huge earning out of nowhere, right? So it just all depends on, is it going to still be lucrative, or is a slowing going to drop it? And I can't guess. What I can do is look over here and see what we're looking at. Now this could, so honestly, this looks kind of like a rising wedge, right? So I would say, like, here, I'll even do it this way. I don't love this type of pattern. It can break out higher. It can, especially if like there's some fundamental weirdness with supply and demand. It can definitely do something crazy there. Here, let me just do this. I'm gonna have to move this. Doesn't quite line up right here. But I would say we've been testing this bottom realm a lot. So I'd be a little worried that this could roll over. So we're either still going higher, we're either getting up here and breaking out, but what I want to see is something with strength, or just like a test above this. If it tested above it, then I would think we're going higher. If it didn't, if it can't get up to there, or it starts falling back down here again near the 100 on the weekly time frame, I'd be concerned, because all of these moving averages are heading up pretty strong. And I would be afraid that it would roll over, especially if there were some kind of, like if supply picked up because these problems that were going on, the mines opened back up and all of a sudden you got more supply, and then you have a constriction in demand. I would be worried that this thing would start to fall. And if, let me see here. I think this is the right way to draw it. I never use fib retracements anymore. Yeah, there you go. So if that was in fact the top, then we might find support down here at like the 50 range. Otherwise, if it keeps going higher, it could go a little bit. That's kind of that. TKO isn't a visual stocks. Isn't in visual stocks. Are you sure? Oh, you're right. TKOTO. Oh shit. Well then, I see what you mean. Did I buy? No, I didn't do anything today. I went out to lunch with a friend. I hung out with my wife and went on a walk. I just kind of, I'm trying to learn some of these tools. I didn't do any trading. I didn't see much point. Stuff wasn't really moving. I ended flat on the day. I mean, basically, you could have ignored the entire day, and outside of information gained, nothing happened for me. Oh, it's the UFC and WWE company. Gotcha. All right, cool. So it's talking about that and this. Okay. All right, well, cool. Well, hey, now you guys know about copper, and you've seen a charge, or you've seen a chart for the WWE. All right. Back over here. Can you please take a look at Fubo? Feels like an asymmetric. No. Well, I will look at it. Actually, let me get back to Siri, because I missed Sanjay. Let me do that. Then I'll look at Fubo. I'll probably just shit on Fubo, just so you know, just to be clear. Because I went down the path of trying to think that it was an asymmetric opportunity, to realize that it's just something that's probably going to lose you a lot of money, because companies like YouTube TV can do it better. All right, so let's pull it up here, Siri. Is this Sirius XM Holdings? Oh, just stay the fuck away from this. Yeah, this is totally dead technology. I can tell you, just from a technical aspect, you don't want to get any satellite radio stuff. Any direct TV dish network shit. It's all dead. It's all dead. Don't touch it. All right, speaking of dead things, let's look at Fubo. Have some fun with Fubo. I want to see how shitty the chart is. It's been a while. Oh, wow. It's gotten worse. That's impressive. You'd think it'd be hard to go down 99%, but not for Fubo. Fubo if you look here, the way this is weirdly priced, was $22,719, and now it's $1.35. So you can go down 99.999% and still call yourself a company. That's cool. All right, so Fubo, we'll just look at I'll shit on the financials real quick, and then we'll call it. So the revenue's going up, but when the revenue goes up, their expenses go up, and then they have all kinds of contractual issues and potential lawsuits. Cash flow is almost positive. Their debts are higher than their assets. Their assets are bleeding away. They're losing about $70 million a quarter, maybe $50 million a quarter on average. A little better, I guess, than it was. You can't get a PU ratio because they lose too much money. Their revenues are starting to decline for the next 2 quarters. That's probably not good. So their income isn't going to get any better. Their cash balance is going to bleed down more. Again, there's just companies. YouTube TV could just squash them if they wanted to. And they're not, there's tons of companies like that. There's like Pluto TV. There's like Roku with Amazon. With Amazon Prime now, you can get live TV just kind of included with it. Maybe it's like an extra $6 or something. I don't even, I just don't think, I wouldn't touch anything like this. And I was invested in it, so I have spent time on it. Tim Wolf, Jesse, I was looking at $250 June 2026 Tesla call. I don't think the multiples were bad, and a little less expensive on this dip. Good move, bad move? I don't know. I haven't looked at the option. You're going to be closer to the money, so you're going to have less upside return, but you'll have less theta decay or burn down over time. So it's probably a pretty good bet. I like the 330s, but I don't know. I haven't looked at them in a while. Maybe they've been really overbought into because I have some kind of presence out there. And options markets are less liquid than stocks. So I would just make sure that use the options calculator. Look for yourself. It's very visual, and it'll give you a good bead. Intelligent computing, yikes. SMCI down 20% today after no pre-earnings announcement. I got to just pull that up. That's so nuts. SMCI. So how are we doing? 23.14, almost down to the fib. Well, I mean, when you've flown this high, this is actually just like consolidation. It could be a broader market trend, but it's honestly just normal when you're this fucking crazy. I mean, the stock usually bounces off the 100, going back a ways here to September. I mean, here it kind of wrapped around it, but found its way back up again. Never got to the 200 either way. So we're getting close to what probably is a bottom on this one. Again, the daily time frame, the RSI, look at that. It went from overbought levels, I don't even know what that is, in the 90s? It's rare that you ever go above 90 on overbought. That's just a fucking crazy number, guys. So... yeah, so this thing's interesting. What did it get up to? 97 almost. And now it's down to almost oversold. I don't know enough about the fundamentals of this company, but this looks interesting. I mean, this is a pretty steep drop. How far have we dropped from where we were? 43. Wow, dude. If this company has some real fundamentals, when were the earnings? April 30th. So people are just getting spooked. Did they normally have a scheduled announcement? Tesla recalled all their trucks. Lol, that's funny. Hopefully you realize that's not like anything important. But essentially they had like 3,100 trucks that had an issue with the brake pedal. It could have been important. Nothing ever happened with it. They recalled the trucks after they stopped the production line to figure out a fix for it, both the long-term fix and then what the short-term one would be. And then once they figured that up and they could fire up the production line again, they did the recall on 3,100 trucks. You know, there were 500,000 Ford Raptors or some shit, just Ford trucks that were recalled just the other day too. I don't think you saw a headline on that though. But the 3,100 trucks on the Tesla are important. It's just funny how all this stuff works. All right, SMCI. So let me see. What were their estimates? God, they're wicked. This is good growth. Forward PE 35. Not a crazy number. That number, I don't even know if that's recalculated with today's drop. Maybe. Maybe. I'll have to ask Alejandro. Alejandro, if you could let me know in a message how often these numbers refresh. If it's like a hourly, daily batch file or something. But 41.88 on the market cap, it says. And we closed today at 41.78. So they're probably pretty in line. And maybe that's representing the PE. The PE looks much more reasonable. Again, down 42%. That's actually kind of looking attractive for somebody who's entering the chip sector. And I'm imagining NVIDIA is very much like probably a less extreme version of this, but probably a good deal too. Personally, though, it's not a good time for me to want to get into it. But how far has NVIDIA dropped? Let's see here. And then we'll go back to requests here. All right, 22%. So, yeah. So, the SMCI seems to be a 2x multiplier to NVIDIA. That's interesting. I don't know why Jeremy. I like Jeremy. I just don't agree with him on Fubo. I think it's a stupid fucking play. And Jeremy does pick some stupid fucking plays. Just so you know. He picks some great ones, too. And I like listening to him, and I have a lot of respect for him. But I know plenty of people that have lost money following his lead on some investments and putting too much into them. I think that will happen with Fubo too, just like with other things that he was invested in. Intelligent computing, according to an Autoblog article, 31 countries passed the EV tipping point of 5% of new car sales in 2023. 2022, it was only 19 countries. So doubling, that doesn't surprise me at all. LB, does CLSK still have $300 million to dilute, or that it's an $800 million contract, and I'm not quite sure where they're at right now? I would follow Sebastian Ski and Bitcoin Mining Guy. Bitcoin Mining Guy is just on X. Sebastian Ski is on YouTube and on X. Both of those guys are great. They have spaces on YouTube or X too, where they talk about miners, and you won't get better information. I don't think they've diluted yet, though, as far as I understand it. Luis Martinez, anyone think Michael Saylor is dumping shares for more Bitcoin? And if anybody knows the contrary to that, throw it out in chat. Luis Martinez, does anyone think Michael Saylor is dumping shares from Bitcoin? It's what I'm thinking. No, not probably not yet. Maybe, but I doubt it. I think he'll do that on the extreme highs, not after it's pulled back 40%. Intelligent computing, it looks like the gaps might be closing soon. A lot of chip stocks, ARM, ASML. Yeah, I think you're probably right. A lot of gaps closing, and it would be healthy. Yeah, that's a really good point on NVIDIA. And maybe that's an indicator too. That's a really good point. Massive daily gap all the way down to 678. Why not just close that out before heading higher? If Bitcoin really takes off and I want to divert to some cash, I might sell a few of my really small miner position maybe and start to dip my toes in this if we close that gap near the 700 range. That's a really good point. Oh, hey, there he is. Alejandro's in the house. The PE is calculated on the spot. The forward PE is recalculated every day, but sometimes the estimates don't change. Okay, cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. See, isn't that great, guys? We got service right here. How many vendors provide that? Not many. Luis Martinez, anyone think Michael Saylor is... Oh, we already did that one. All right, Albert Pav. Hi, Jesse. For 1 to 1.5 years, which stock do you think will do best, PayPal or Tesla? As far as that's hard. That's hard because they could execute at different times. I've got that bet where a little over 2 years Tesla is going to do really well, and it's like if I'm right, it's a 10 to 20x. But PayPal, if it does really well in the next 2 quarters, I could make 10x. So I don't know. Over the shortest term, I would say PayPal could provide the highest asymmetric return if I'm right. But that's a big if, right? I got to be right. I could be wrong on my timing, and then it could be longer. But I like the January 2026s for PayPal. And I still own a bunch of January 2025. Haven't sold anything. It's turning to dust, though. But I do think we found a bottom in that one. And I didn't even do my stocks. What am I thinking? Oh, my God, I'm so disheveled. Real quickly, let's do the basics. My God. The Bitcoin session for the halving will be better than this one, I promise. All right, so real quickly, I think I already did Tesla. I did Tesla. Let's skip that. Let's look at SoFi. We'll just dial down the list here. Got to do all the majors, and then we'll get back over to chat. All right, so SoFi down 0.28%. This is kind of a repeat of yesterday. Seems to be finding a bottom. It's been doing that for days. I mean, look at how perfectly it forms in this box. And this downward resistance line. Got under it a couple of times, but wicked back up right away. Wicked up here. Got to the resistance line, wicked up, got above the fib line in the box. You know, it just keeps, it's staying right here on this fib. It's staying right here. And I don't even need the box. I mean, you can see it enough with the fib. The fib level is showing support. It's not even getting down to the previous resistance line. To me, this thing looks like it's bottom. I feel like if it didn't bottom and it goes lower, it's going to be like for a very, very short period of time. All right, so let's check out Palantir. I think that one's still kind of getting butchered like I thought it would. Did he add GEV? Oh, I don't know. Alejandro, do you have GEV? I think you don't have data on that one yet, right? They just haven't reported it. I think that's what Alejandro told me. Silas, did you see my posted comment the other day on PayPal being bad with crypto? What do you mean by that? Can you summarize it? And I don't know if I did. Now I gotta say, so Palantir got its ass handed to it today. It's down in the low 20s. I kind of said that could happen, or it could establish a base on the .786. It did not. Now we're getting towards some volume here, so that could be good. But we're just so close. If we see more downward pressure in the markets, I don't see why we wouldn't close the gap at 18 and just get her done, just like we did with Tesla today. Otherwise, it could start bouncing. You could DCA in. I think once you get down to that 17, 18 range, though, it's a solid play, guys. In my opinion, Palantir is going to do great. It just might not be great right now, right? It's okay. It's okay. Square is close to filling its gap. It's real close. It did part of it today. So we're all the way. It's a much tinier gap. Look at that. Big old gap, little gap. So we're almost done. And we should get to, like, we get to 68-ish, 68 and change, 69. Gap's filled. We're done. And then I'd say that's going to be an amazing level of support. Intelligent computing. If I was China's economy going to shit, what impact do you see having on Tesla's sales? I think Tesla can still ship its shit overseas. Part of the benefit to Tesla is the reduced prices in China. So as long as governments don't prevent them from being able, like if they're a domestic manufacturer of cars, but also have a factory overseas in China, if the government doesn't penalize them with some kind of weird tariffs that they would put on Chinese EVs that were getting dumped into the nation, and they treat Tesla fairly, I think Tesla would do really well. Because then they just export to the rest of the world. If that makes sense to you. All right, what else we got here? Let's check out Enphase, and then I'll check out some of my other stocks. Then we'll move back. So I said before that we could keep dropping because we had this, we had this triangle. It should have been an ascending one, but it's weird. It looks like it wants to roll over. It's like lower, breaking down. So I could see us going to like the 100 range and then potentially 86. I don't think that's crazy. This hasn't been hit as hard lately as Tesla's been hit, even though it's down probably a similar amount. It just hasn't had the abuse. It's fared better recently. And I think Enphase, I told you guys about this yesterday, their inverters, I think, are going to be made more of a moot point in the future. And the Tesla Powerwall 3 will sell more and then will cannibalize Enphase while it does that. From what I was watching and reading, it doesn't look super positive for them. Hood. So I'm not really excited about Enphase. Excited about Tesla. Don't know if you garnered that. Now, India will start now. What is this? So Alejandro said about visualstocks.com, yeah, GEV is a spin out of GE as far as I know. So they haven't reported as an independent company yet. So it's just a delay in the data. Silas, I mean exactly what you asked me like before I answered the stream, but you never seem to see it. Can you just tell me real quick? Can you summarize it? Stephen Toro, also India will start now. What do you mean by starting now, Stephen? All right, so real quickly, Hood. I said this before. We were underneath it here. We needed to bounce back up and get support. We're not. If there's any weakness next week, if we don't get this big bounce like I'm expecting, and again, it could take a little bit. It doesn't have to happen right away. I told you each of these indices could drop another 2 to 3%, right? So if that happens, I could see more pain for Hood. I could see it. People just get scared and they might, throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so we either find good support at 16-ish, which isn't far from here, or we roll over and we could go all the way down to this fib and test down to the 14s. This is why I sold my options up here. This is why I sold my stock over here. And why I used it to buy other stuff like miners and MicroStrategy and all that stuff. Oh, sorry about that. All right, what else we got? What about PayPal? So PayPal. Oh, regarding Tesla, I could see that eventually. Probably not right away though. They'll. I think that from a tariff aspect, if that's what you're talking about, Steven, totally see that. Yeah, I think that they'll start lowering the tariffs for Tesla EVs. And then we could be shipping Chinese EVs to India because they would want to do Elon a solid. If that's what you're thinking, bro, that's actually brilliant. Yeah, dude, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, bro. I totally agree with you. I think that's very smart. I hadn't actually thought about it that way. That's brilliant. I think that's exactly what's... So yeah, I think that lessens my concerns of risk, of downside risk for Tesla. That's really smart, dude. All right, 1/2. Jesse, you asked how PayPal is bad with crypto. I've got more than one BTC. I cannot get out because their blockchain wallet transfers are limited to Oh, so you're saying it's hard to get out. Can you... Now, are you trying to sell it? Or are you trying to ship your Bitcoin from one place to another? Can you liquidate it? Or you just can't... Like, you could turn it to cash and then you could get it out? Or if you don't do that, like... they only allow like 1,000 in transfer on the blockchain. And then second, and most attempts produce error message, try again later. They want you to sell. Oh, they want you to sell it to dollars. Okay, so you're saying it's hard to transfer Bitcoin out. So you don't want to own real Bitcoin there. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't even have any there. I just like PayPal as a payment system. So I've never tried it for the crypto thing. So that's interesting. Maybe we can get some messages over to Alex Chris and see if we can fix that. I'll certainly throw out my voice. UIC, thanks for investing in new tech for your vids. Yeah, dude, I'm trying to invest. I figure if I invest in myself, if you guys invest in me by liking, subscribing, if everybody here could like, comment, be active in the community, share this. If you do that part, and help me out that way. And again, the people that have joined as members, it helps me out because then I can get cool shit like Cortex, where I can see real time short option stuff. But it's $1,000 a month, so it's like it's not an easy thing to do, right? But when you guys are helping out, it makes it a lot easier. So thank you for all the support. I'll invest in myself, especially if you guys invest in me. All right, so with PayPal, I just wanted to point out, and I said this before. It did find support on the 50 moving average on the weekly, on the peak in the volumes for the entire history of the company, on this downward trending resistance line turned into support for the first time ever. And then it was up 0.34% on the day. So I like it. With Hood, you can transfer crypto out. I don't know what you mean by cold wallet. Like you can transfer crypto out. I think that's what you mean. Like, can you send it to a cold wallet? Read 2 of 2. I did, I think. Most attempts to produce have an error, and they want you to transfer the money out. Yeah. What is my stream? Is my stream set to low? Hopefully it is. I left the latency at normal. Sorry, guys. It makes it to where we're a little disconnected from each other, so I apologize about that. I'm trying to get it to where soon I'll have my board up, and I can press buttons, and it will just punch in all the defaults and do the things with one click that I have to like click a bunch of shit to do. So it'll get a lot better. Bloomberg Terminal. I actually, I've used things like Bloomberg Terminal, and I've had people that have had it. I followed Meet Kevin, and he used to post all of his stuff about his Bloomberg Terminal. I just don't know if they have the value that they used to have. And I've tried a bunch of other terminals. I'm excited about Cortex. But again, for the most part, I use visual stocks. Cortex is really just about some crazy stuff like credit default swaps, option shorting, just some weird metrics that you just can't get anywhere else. Or you can, but they're not as good or cost just as much. All right, so PayPal we got done. Let's do Matterport, Flux. Let's just roll through the rest of these. If I forgot anything, let me know. Not doing crypto stuff. Again, going to do that in the 6:30 stream. Robinhood is 5K limit, so that sounds better. Coinbase has a limit too. Maybe it's 10. I think it's higher. Actually, maybe it's higher than that. I don't know. I'd have to check. Coinbase has a limit too. I think it's better than both of those. I think it's better than PayPal and better than Robinhood. But again, you pay a premium. The fees are high. Now, I said this yesterday with Matterport. I pulled this up wrong. Let me do it the right way. Sorry. I said this yesterday with Matterport that it could drop lower and establish a new low. And it appears to have done that. So I'll have to readjust this because we're not done dropping. But again, rates higher for longer. If that narrative continues to maintain, like I've said for a while, this will continue to drop. And if the narrative does change, this will start going up. It is down 90. I mean, at one point today, it was down almost 96% from its high. It's a lot. So I think we're really close to the bottom, guys, just based upon a lot of stuff. The RSI level on the weekly time frame, the MACD. There's probably a bunch of things I could look at that are screaming that this thing has some oscillators trying to flip it to the upside. All right, you guys have a couple to look at. Next tech for Jesse Bloomberg. Okay, that was that one. BYD or BD, yes, thanks. CLIS, Robinhood is a 5K limit. CLIS, but that's the daily at least. EYC, who's winning round one? My Knicks or the Sixers? I have no idea. I'm so bad with sports. Zachary Alprin, Brunson ain't losing. Okay, so you guys can just talk amongst yourselves. CLIS, but with 1K limit, you may have many fees. You do 70 trades first. It's like 2 years. Yeah, that's fucked up. You should talk to them. Have you asked them, CLIS? Have you reached out to support to see if there's anything else they can do? Or is it just like you got to cash it out, bro, if you want to move it quicker, and that's all they give you? Robert Bailey, PayPal up my transfer limit with a request within a week. Oh, to move Bitcoin, no problem. CLIS, I think you got your answer, bro. Maybe you need to check that out. BD, Hood, shutting down 24-hour last night was a little sketch. Not really. They don't have enough liquidity. They're like the only place that does all of this, right? And so they have all the risk because no other exchange is doing what they're doing. So when there's a crazy world event and they don't have liquidity because their markets just aren't that large yet, and there's nobody else they can share liquidity with in the middle of the night, I think it's the responsible thing to have that happen. And I even saw that it might not have been them that turned it off. It might have been their back-end brokerage, because somebody said IBKR, Interactive Brokers, was down too, and they used the same one. But they, at least this time, they did the buy and sell button, so it just kind of got froze. But that's their responsibility. You can't, if you have a liquid markets and there's a major event happening, you're taking on much greater liability to allow people to have huge spreads on what the value is at because of that lack of liquidity. And just, you could potentially fuck a lot of people and have lawsuits. So I actually think what they did was probably the right decision. Are you still doing the coin? I haven't yet, but I was thinking about it. Yes, I still want to do it. Robert, how high new limit? Okay. So Matterport, done. Again, it could go a little bit lower, but I think it's probably there. Let's look at Flux. Let me know if I missed anything else that I normally talk about, guys. Flux down 0.47, down 0.71% after hours, so it's just sitting right on the 50 on the weekly moving average. It's not actually doing that bad considering how bad the day was. Again, some of these smaller caps seem like they got a little bit of love today, and these guys are definitely a smaller cap. They're 69 million for their market cap, or almost 70, so that's so tiny. So tiny. DLO, my Latin American e-commerce play. How are we doing, DLO? Did you have a good day? You have a bad day? You went down 4.28%, so this looks like another one that's trying to roll over. Hopefully, we're finding support right here where we have the volume kind of etch over a little bit, or at the very least at the 0.5 fib level here. We find support worst case at like 1380. I would like to see support. Maybe we get all the way down to here. I'd like not to get down here. The fact that we're trending away from that is a good sign, and one that, you know, we could flip around and go the other way. So I would like to see us bounce, but it looks like DLO didn't have a great day. I'm imagining maybe, I don't know. I don't know how the rest of Latin America did, but these guys didn't do very well. All right. Let me go back to your guys' requests. I don't think I had anything else. If there's anything else I missed, let me know. Let me just get caught up on Silas as a PayPal shareholder. It's concerning still. I have not done battle with him. You should just check. See if it's easier. See if Robert was right about you just putting in a request and then increasing the limit. Just see if that's possible. Because they might, again, like it could be a way for them to limit risk. Because the run on banks and run on reserve things can be a little scary, and you don't want to have to worry about that too. But maybe if you can request it and get out, get out quicker, do it. Thanks, Jesse. Looking towards live stream tonight. Go eat bathroom break. Intelligent computing. Are you saving MSTR for the BTC? Yes, I'm doing all Bitcoin stuff. Is happening in the next stream. So if you want to hear more Bitcoin related stuff, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of news related events and just cool facts and figures and charts, and then looking at the Bitcoin mining sector and, you know, maybe some other shit coins and stuff. So that'll all be then. GDBM. Don't know what that means. Robert Bale, how high was your new limit? All right, you guys. Okay, I'll try and look at that one. I'm going to go back in line, though. Does CLSK still have the... Okay, we already did that one. Luis Martinez. Anyone think Michael Saylor? All right, I already did that one. Intelligent computing. I already did that. Where was I? SoFi I just did. Albert. What's the time to spend something? All right, Albert. Also, do we know how much China spends on paying for its debt in regional shadow? Oh, dude, it's so bad. So here's what we know. We know our debt to GDP in the United States is something like 120, 125%, which is bad, right? So we have more debt than versus what we're producing. So that's an unsustainable thing just by the nature of it, right? You never want to cross 100%. The only country that's really done that and been successful for a long period of time would be Japan. But we don't want to be them either. And we're the world reserve currency. So ideally, we do two things. We increase GDP and we lower our debts. We can lower our debts by lowering rates because we can make it to where the rate of inflation on our debt and the interest payments that we're having to make can go lower. That's good. But China's just fucked. They don't have 120, 125% debt to GDP. They have like 320 to 330 from what we believe when you factor in shadow banking, local government finance vehicles, just all the things of China. So they're fucked. I just want to be very clear on that. There is no paying that off. All there is there's two methods for the future. There is war, where they need to win, and then there's the complete and utter collapse. So that's it. That's China. Those are the only two options right now. They either completely collapse, and then the CCP dies, and then we force them to have a democratic administration. Oh, it did that weird thing. Did you guys just see a thumb? I have weird fucking animations that pop up every once in a while, and I don't even know what program does it. Weird. All right. But yeah, so China's pretty screwed, man. It's really bad. I just want to, that's why I try to make that clear to people. It's just so bad. And it could be bad for the rest of the world. That's the scary part, right? Is that it might not just be China. All right. Snow, please, from Danny Ventura. Let's look at snow. I need to start memorizing what these things look like for their financials, too, at the same time. Oof. I know these guys, I know they're like the shitty version of Palantir. That's the way I like to think of them, at least. But down 64%. Chart looks like garbage. And if I remember the financials, they don't look super ideal. I think they're a money burner. Just so you know. YouTube AI thing. What do we got? All right, you guys are doing that. All right, let me see here. I'll get back to that in a sec. So net income is negative $170 million, and they made $774. It's not a great number. They do show positive EPS soon, so if they can pull that off, great. Their valuation, though, is 134 forward PE. So just back to, again, sucking. They just, they're doing okay, but you just can't compare them to Palantir, I don't think. Their valuation's way too high. All right. Let me see here. I'm going to try and get caught up on your guys' take. Jesse, I'll request it after I return from South America or South Africa. Lots of holdups. The nuance will be my safety for the next few months. Yeah, no shit. Or nuisance will be your safety. Yeah, that sounds... Good luck with that, man. Why are you in South Africa? All right, EYC. Hope this isn't prying, but as you've shared your background, how are you able to secure jobs at banks? I think you alluded to that. Super interesting. And congrats. Feel free to skip this. Shared your background. How were you able to secure jobs? I never worked at a bank. I've worked for software companies. I never worked for a bank. Worked as a company with a company that did like software analytic tools and CRM, like customer relationship management tools, and like integrating different data stacks from different silos of the company. So that was like one company. Then I also worked with an urgent medical care software for like the largest set of urgent cares in the country. And helped develop that stuff out. I was like employee number 20 or something, and then the company, when I left, was like 250 employees or something over a period of 4 years. So it was a pretty high growth stuff, but I never worked for a bank. Hope this isn't okay. Stephen Toro, talk ETH, please. I will in the next session, the Bitcoin and crypto one at 6:30 or 7, probably 6:30. Intelligent computing, yes. Intelligent computing, thumbs up. Matt Nintendo, the apples. Apples, if you do 2 thumbs up, fireworks will come up. UIC, YouTube AI thing. YouTube AI thing. I've got a YouTube AI thing. I've got a vidIQ. That's kind of like that. It's really fucking cool. Sealess, for now, ironically, PayPal is safer than cold storage. A major hack would not bankrupt the company, and unlike exchanges, they need to reimburse. That's kind of true. It's actually kind of true. Depending on how you're looking at it, that's a good point. Stephen Toro, I think the thumb thing is a Mac stuff thing. Okay. I got to figure out what the Mac things are. I just didn't know that, like, if I do a thumbs up, it'll start, and it doesn't. Oh, it did it again. What the fuck? Does this do something? I thought this did, like, a hand raising. This is weird. All right, I got to learn this. Very fascinating. I'm so old. You're teaching this old dog new tricks. Silas, I'm not in South Africa. My father is with terminal cancer. His treatment is easier to get there than Denmark. It's probably cheaper, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That sucks, dude. Well, stay safe, and I hope you can get him the treatment he needs. UIC, my bad. Thanks, Jesse. Congrats on the success, dude. Love it. Matt Nintendo, 2 thumbs up. Okay, all right. Back over to here. So yeah, Snow doesn't look great from a financial standpoint, and I think the short interest isn't that high. I don't understand it, but I don't like companies that don't make money. They've got a lot of a lot of the metrics are going in the right direction. Cash flow is going in the right direction. You can't hate this company from some of those standpoints. It's just their valuation at $48 billion to me is just super high. Moose antlers? Is that a thing? Or are you just trying to get me to do this to look stupid? Either way. All right. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to see if I can figure out what all these do. Again, Thinlay, hey. Intelligent computing, CLSK up nicely, and Wolf barely are back above significant VRVP. Lobes. I love that word. Most other BTC miners aren't quite there yet. Disease Kodak. Sup, Jesse? All right, everybody's saying hi. Let's zoom down. Disease Kodak. Bitcoin had a wild move last night going into the morning. Yeah, right? We had that just extreme drop, and then all of a sudden it came back, all because of the Iran-Israel thing. It definitely didn't act like a safe haven asset then, right? But somebody else made a really good point. I don't remember if it was Dylan LeClaire or somebody else. Could have been somebody else. Oh, no. It was a guy who runs one of these Bitcoin ETF funds. I forget his name. He's brilliant. But he had said that Bitcoin moves and goes in the direction you might not want it to right now because it's just the most liquid asset on Earth, and it doesn't care about your time zone. So if anybody's going to get frightened right now, at least, until we have other mechanisms that trade 24/7, like more like, and don't get shut down like Robinhood. Until we have more liquid markets that run 24/7, Bitcoin is the thing that people have to sell over at least a very short period of time, right? Because if you wanted to garner cash, like that's how you're going to get it. And I thought that was a really brilliant take that made me just sit back and go like, whoa, I hadn't actually thought of it that way. So there could be knee-jerk reactions with geopolitical issues that cause, at least over the short term, Bitcoin to not be, an asset that will be safe over that short period of time, as people are starting to look for like a source of funds to be able to garner money to potentially buy whatever catastrophic thing that they think is happening. So that kind of gave me a different vantage point, at least over the short term, on how Bitcoin's price action might act. I'll try and remember to talk about that later too, in the Bitcoin halving video. But yeah, so it's just it's a little bit different. It's a little bit my view on that has changed a little bit. Let's see, happy dude. I can't believe they're finally here. CLSK, I can't believe that the halving is happening today, guys. That's just crazy. When you've been watching it for as long, it's just like, what? It's so crazy. All right, well, Frenchie, bonjour, of course. I sold out of my hood and Square share today to buy as much Tesla, MSTR, and Cypher. It might not be a bad idea. Wild Frenchie, happy Friday. Mike, intros on YouTube. Intelligent Computing, Wild Frenchie, hey, Wild Man. Or let's see, Matanga. Hey, Jesse, could you look at Grab? It got recommended by the Motley Fool stock. Yeah, see, I kind of fucking hate the Motley Fool and all that shit. But I will look it up for you, and then I'll probably shit on it, if that's okay with you. If you're up for that. If you like getting kicked in the face every once in a while. Here we go. Let's pull it up. And we'll pull it up over here. So the stock looks like maybe it's bottoming, right? Like, yeah, maybe it's bottoming. Maybe it's okay. All right, so let's go over here. Probably won't spend a ton of time on this one, but I'll show you. So, $13 billion valuation, starting to get a positive net income, $35 million. That's not horrible. It's not horrible at all. This is Singapore-based. Started to remember more. 30% revenue growth. That is good. But it looks like they're getting a flattening of revenues for their forward guidance, and they might go negative again. So it's not horrible, at least in regard to the fact that these guys do have a lot of growth, right? But if you're a $13 billion company and you can't keep netting money and have positive cash flows, by that valuation alone, it still tells me that you're too high. And here's what I worry about. It's kind of hard to see it here. Maybe I can still show it. Let me see. I probably just need to do one of these, right? So I'm going to go over to here, and I want to show you something. Let's see if I can represent it well. Here's what I feel like's happening with this stock. And I don't like that. You see that? You see that kind of rolling over thing? And I could be a little more optimistic and put this up here, but it doesn't matter. It still gets me to the point to where I'm worried, because if I try to follow the heart line of this, like the down the middle kind of, if I go the down the middle path, it looks like it's kind of rolling over. Like it's trying to go up. I know the valuations is 13 billion. And so my worry is it can't get it up. It bear flags here, and then it starts to descend lower and just really test the bottom. Because again, the valuation to me is really high. I actually think it belongs at $2, personally. All right, let me see here. What else we got? Wow, Frenchie, how are you? Disease Kodak. This stream we talk about Tesla. Next stream we talk about BTC. Let's get it. Zachary, first time as a paid member. Yeah, thanks, man. Daniel King, happy Friday, all. Charlie Massey, good. Wild Frenchie, la creme de la creme. Jesse, thanks, man. I don't know if you're offering me some kind of thing to eat or if you're calling me that. Intelligent Computing, Wild Frenchie could be better or worse. Thanks you. Lisa Marie, good day. Jesse, ME, please. Company for sale and looking at several offers. ME. Okay. Let's see. What do their finances look like? See, it's hard to judge a company like this because if they're up for sale, like I can't find ME. Let me see if I can get the ticker and maybe get the full name. I know I don't have this one, so let me go here. Like the Asian Uber and Lyft. Yeah, I think it's something like that, which also kind of worries me. Are you talking 23andMe? Is that what you're talking about, Lisa Marie? Is that it? It's probably it. Let's click on it. Jesus Christ. I knew this was a company that gathers people's DNA so that they can sell it to the highest bidder, but that's interesting. It actually looks like a bottom. So I've said this before, but so if you look here, this huge wick right here told you this was over. And so right up about here, you could have got the fuck out, right? Like right up here, you could have got the fuck out right at the top because you knew it was blowing its load. Whenever you have a volume candle that's significantly, I like to say 2 to 3x especially, higher than its previous history, and this didn't have a lot of time, so it would have been harder to gauge, right? But you got an indication of a potential top. And here, we didn't have the bottom yet, but you can see we never really got the bottom. You can get the bottom if it dies off and the volume just completely disappears, but it didn't do that here. It started to pick up again, and so then it found another local peak, right? And then it just kind of dropped down again, but then it started to pick up again as it was dropping. And this is a higher number. This could have maybe told you, oh, maybe this has marked the bottom. But then volume dropped again as it just kept falling, which is not good. This is a bottom. This is a bottom. Doesn't have to be, but man, every time I've seen some shit like this, and then you've got this like doji spinning thing here, this looks like a bottom to me without even knowing what's going on with it. So from a technical level, I wouldn't hate that. 23. There we go. All right. I do hate their net income. But again, I don't know if this is all prep for a sale. I don't know what's going on with this company. This is a weird state that they're in right now. Their revenues have been in decline. 44 million. They just lost 277 million in a quarter. They're only valued at 233. If you subtract their cash from their debt, they're almost being valued at just cash. Yeah, you could be right, intelligent computing. Let me see this real quick. Oh yeah, sorry about the commercials. Maybe someday I'll do away with those again. I need to figure that out. I need to figure out if that's the right thing to do. But so here, it's interesting that in Q3 of 2023, not too long ago, 6 months ago, these guys were buying their own stock. I mean, a pretty decent amount. They bought again in 2021, 2022. Institutional ownership is flatlined. Short interest is picking up. I mean, we're not double digits, but it's not great. They're looking at potentially revenue going up. I don't know. This is such a weird state that they're in. Because so many things have went wrong as far as like just looking at the chart. Like, again, this isn't beautiful. Like, could they pick up and start doing really well in this other company that if there is somebody that buys them, cause it to go up a lot? Maybe, but it's just a money loser. And even though this is marked, this could be a technical bottom. It doesn't mean we have to go up a lot. They could go to like 89 cents and double. Or maybe they get rejected here at 72 cents and we trend. And all this means is that we probably found a bottom and that you have potentially less downside risk. But when I look at the financials, though, I get less optimistic about this company because they're being valued at cash. I don't know anything about the sales. I just don't know where the fundamentals are going on. So that's my thought there. Sealess, yeah, but it's the Google founder's wife's company. I mean, that hell is he? Are they just gonna take some money and like slide it under the table to them, or maybe Google will buy it out? I mean, that again, that could mean something. It's possible. Why is my Google voice turning on? Shut up, phone. Fuck off. All right, let me see here. Let's get back down. Do you think the miners are going up today is an indicator that BTC is going to go up faster than we think? It could be, Zach. I think it's, like I said earlier, I think Bitcoin and altcoins and small caps might be leading the market for a change. Well, I mean, Bitcoin always does, but different for small caps. Pooter, I bought the shit out of Tesla today. Good for you, bro. And we'll keep buying until my wife... Oh, yeah, I saw that one earlier. I love that. Zachary Sawinski, at this point, my girlfriend knows I'm available to the market in 30 to 45 minutes after because of the stream. That's awesome. You guys are skipping your relationships for me. That means a lot. All right. Intelligent Computing, RUT, or IWM, was up today, and the S&P and QQQ were down. What the fuck? Isn't that cool? I love that. I think that's great. I think it's bullish. Disease Kodak. I was $350 short of buying a Tesla call, so my girlfriend helped me out. Sweet. Zachary Sawinski. That's a good woman. You keep her. Intelligent Computing, IWN, running into support near the 200. Yep. Zachary Aprem. Everyone freaking out last night. It seemed like typical internet overreaction. Yeah, isn't it crazy? So you had, well, I mean, if they would have been dropping nukes or dropping on nuclear facilities, that wouldn't have been as ideal. But again, that's not the most likely outcome, right? Like the most likely outcome is that we try not to destroy humanity because people still inherently want to preserve themselves. Nobody wants to live in a fucking bunker. I've seen enough movies for how that turns out. You know, nobody wants to do that. It's just a shit. Yeah. Oh, hey, how long do you think you'd live in the bunker? If you're Xi Jinping and you've destroyed humanity and dropped like 300 nukes, and then Russia did it too, and we did it, and everybody's fucking dead and dying from nuclear radiation, and you're in the bunker with like 1,000 other people under this mountain a little bit out of the sea where you can drive ships and submarines into. They have this, right? Like he's got his little station. Do you think those people are going to love you? They're probably going to murder you, right? Because you destroyed everything that was good in their lives. So I don't think there's any incentive even for dictators to destroy humanity. So I don't know. I don't get too worried about stuff like that. All right. You guys are talking DNA stuff. Let me just look here. Me looks like a case of C-list DNA, low value business, intelligent computing. It's probably selling your data that would be the high value portion of the business. They can afford to buy it all up for vanity, not because it's undervalued. It's like the generic drug business at this point. It's really cheap. Intelligent computing, Google wants your DNA for their AI. Probably, honestly, that's frightening, but possibly true. ABC 89 HODL. Google's definitely the company I wouldn't trust with it, even though they did make good strides this week by firing a bunch of dipshits who thought that how entitled, sorry, I'm going to try not to get too political, but how entitled do you have to fucking be to go to your Fortune 100, not even, like, one of the richest companies on earth, go to your boss's office and then sit in there and be like, yeah, fuck you. We want you to get rid of $1 billion something deal or we're not leaving. How entitled do you have to be? How many times have you thought about doing shit like that with your employers? You got to be pretty stupid. But Google did the right thing. They fired them and they got some of them arrested. I think that's great. That's what it should be. People need to learn that their opinions about the way the world should work don't just happen because they deem them so. It's not how the world works, guys. You do stupid shit, you win prizes. So yeah, so Google, maybe they'll get better in the future. I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, I think the Google founder was the same person who was not a humanist, right? I think Elon Musk said that he was rooting for AI over humanity or some shit, and that's frightening. Chris James, try the peace sign to get balloons. Peace sign, really? I don't even know if I know how to do that. Let me see. Peace signs. I don't know. How do I do the peace sign with my hand? I don't even know. All right. Try the peace sign to get balloons. All right. Google always wants more info. DNA, please. DNA I can take a look at. C-list. Does anyone have a remember when Google Finance was really good free service? Oh, dude, so long ago. Google was a great company a long time ago. For a woke company like Google, they did the fantastic thing. They did. And here's the thing. Like, I feel like people use woke as a weapon for everybody that disagrees with them on one side, right? The left side. But, like, there's a lot of people on the left that are just perfectly normal people. I have been there myself. But it shouldn't be used as a weapon. But in this case, those people were definitely some woke assholes. Fuck them. Dougie Fresh 69, you only have 2 stocks that you're up on? I only have 2 stocks that I'm up on? Or who? Who are we talking about? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I made 700% last year, so I got like a lot of stocks I'm up on. You can't always look. I trade out of my main account, so you can't look at like the gain loss and the overall and really expect that to encapsulate what I've made because I trade. The accounts where I hold, I've done much better because they're long-term accounts where I hold for long periods of time, and the math helps you, right? But the trading ones over the short term can look like they're worse because I realize gains, and that doesn't show in that number. So if you were talking to me, no, I've actually done stupid fucking good. I'm not at my high right now, but that's different. What was it? Sergey Brin and Larry Page, don't be evil or something like that. Yeah, that sounds right. And then they kind of, I feel like they started doing the opposite. Again, like your AI shouldn't replace every white person in history with black people. And don't get me wrong, like I get that not everybody's had a fair life, especially over time. I appreciate the plight that many races have had in slavery, including white people. But it's like in all the bad things that have happened, right? This is probably so off topic and something I shouldn't be talking about. But it's like to a point, though, you can't replace history. You can't act like these things didn't happen. You can't act like you need to give everything to somebody today, even if they don't work hard, just because of things that happened to people that came before them. It doesn't make any fucking sense. People should be rewarded by their own actions and the work they put forward, even if they're disadvantaged. There's all kinds of people that are disadvantaged. The color of your skin can be a disadvantage. If you're fat as fuck, that could be a disadvantage. If you're super fucking skinny, if you die of cancer when you're 10 years fucking old, that can suck. Everybody has disadvantages in some fucking way in life. Everybody does. We all have fucking problems. Anybody who thinks that just one group of people have problems and everybody else has it fucking easy are stupid. And making generalizations about people for the color of their skin, where they live, what their fucking political beliefs, religious beliefs is fucking stupid. So treat people based on their actions. That's the way I like to look at things. And so I don't like things like Google, where they want to replace history. I think we should keep our history. We should know how evil it's been and how great it's been. We shouldn't try and constantly rewrite it. That's what leaves us confused all the time, is when everybody fucking rewrites the past. That's how we repeat our mistakes and do stupid shit. And you can read it for thousands of years. You can see all the stupid shit that people do because of it. Intelligent computing. Don't listen to Peter Schiff. He is an idiot. I will vouch for that. Zachary, did you see Kathy Wood's comments on Tesla today? Said 2,000 by 2030. I actually think she's too pessimistic. But yeah, 2,000's not bad. I think we could do better. I'm more of a 3 myself, personally. Slavery was the norm for most of history. Yeah, it still is, man. In China, you can be a Muslim and still be enslaved. There's plenty of people that are slaves and in the wrong places. It's horrible. It blows my mind that we live in a society like we have right now with all the things that we have and the fact that so many people have been enriched throughout time, including people like in China. And then you have things like that still exist today. It's sad. Why shouldn't you talk about it? It's not good. People, you can talk about anything. You might piss some people off. I think you always have to take that into account, right? Not like I hold back much, guys. Let's be real. You pretty much get it all. Does the steepening of the yield curve typically result in stocks crashing? Typically, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Even the creator of the yield curve inversion metric as a bearish sign has flip-flopped back and forth on whether or not it's a bearish now. He doesn't even know if it's reliable right now, and he invented it. And he's like, I don't know, guys. I got nothing. Jay the Savage, in general, move towards electric cars. Any major reason you're bearish on oil? I'm not bearish. I wouldn't say I'm bearish on it because it's required, like it's the economic engine of societies around the world, right? And right now we've got a problem where China's falling apart, and they're one of the biggest consumers of it. And then we have, Japan starting to slow down, and we have Europe that was slowing down. and we just have a slowdown in demand, now that can have secondary effects that could cause oil to go up. I think oil's needed. I want oil to drop, actually. I want our government to produce shit tons of it, and just pump that fucking shit out of the ground. Start building nuclear reactors, pump all the oil that we can get out of the ground, start putting up solar, incentivize battery packs, do it fucking all. Do it all. Because if you look at economies in history, the more energy you have in an economy, the richer the people are. And we know that technology is advancing at a pace that can already save us from a lot of things that we might be doing wrong. I'm not naive enough to act like we're not affecting our environment with all the chemicals and things that we put up in the air and just all the things that are happening. I might not agree with the severity of them and how quickly it will destroy us, but I don't think it's good to pollute your oceans. I don't think it's good to burn down rainforests. Or in like Brazil and some of these other places I've been, man, like in Panama where I've got family, like there used to be rainforests. There used to be just massive tropical forests, and they're just gone. And some of those areas are fucking desert. So like there's stuff that we need to do to fix things. And I don't even know where I went on this rant, but whatever. All right, so we're going to slow down on that. Let me see here. What time is it? 4:45. I might do one or two more here real quick, and then we'll call it. Doesn't that usually happen right after the Fed initiates QE after they have been in quantitative tightening? Yes and no too. So that doesn't mean that we're going to have a major problem either. It all depends on the timing of it. So if the Fed is lowering rates, right? If they're lowering rates because they're trying to make, pep up the economy, or at least get it at a better balance, because right now it's greatly imbalanced. But if they lower rates, but unemployment isn't going down, or I should say unemployment isn't rising and people aren't losing jobs, and we do it before that happens, then it actually would be seen as a positive, and I don't think we would have an issue with the inversion at all. It's just a matter of the economy still needs to be in good shape. We need to not have to worry about inflation reigniting things again. And we need to bring down rates so that we can balance out the economy and not be devastating some sectors while promoting others. And if we do that, and I'm not saying it's an easy task, but I'm saying that if we do it in the right order and get rates to drop first before we start seeing unemployment-related issues, then the most likely outcome would be a melt up before a meltdown. And so as long as we just get the timing right on the rates, we're going to make a bunch of money. Then the question is, did we do things right to where the economy is still good, or are we going to have it collapse? And we don't want it to collapse. I'd rather not have a meltdown. I'd rather have like a controlled, the economy is doing good for the next 10 years. We start to lower our interest income so we're not paying so much in our debts for our economy and for all the people in it and companies in it. And we're producing so much. Our GDP keeps going up every quarter. It keeps getting revised higher. We're like, we could be in the threes, man. Like, it could be interesting. It's just like, it needs to be heavily monitored. Let me see here. Intelligent computing, forever chemicals like Teflon, CG. Yeah, dude, there's microplastics in our bloodstreams. Like, there's so much shit we're doing wrong. See, listen, Italy was once largely rainforest. They cut the trees down. Yeah, and there was other stuff that probably happened over time, too. That climate was probably different over the millennia. But yeah, there's a lot of things that have shifted over time just by the rotation of the Earth. Just lots of things, right? Like the magnetic poles. There's lots of wild stuff that's happened. All right, I think I'm done. I'm 6 minutes reacted. Love that little rant. Not sure which one it was. There's a few. But I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I got to eat. I got to chill. And then we'll get our Bitcoin stream going. Probably 6:30. I'll adjust it and let you guys know if the time changes. Really appreciate everybody that's been here. Thank you very much. Bitcoin halving day, guys. Don't miss it. It's going to be fun. We'll go over some good stuff. And hopefully you're going to be pumped. And then it'll be anticlimactic because we'll just pass it. And then it'll be over. And then we'll go on about our days. But I just wish it would have happened on 420. I would love it if we could have got to 69,000 by 420. Maybe that'll happen. Wouldn't that be great? If the halving happens tonight and then by 420 tomorrow we get some kind of pump up to 69K, that's serendipity. But anyway, I will see you guys later.